The regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, June 21st, 2021 will please come to order. Those of you who are in attendance this evening, welcome, and if you would, please check your electronic devices and make sure that you have placed them on vibrate or mute. And then once again this evening, we will be affording the public the opportunity to participate in our meeting remotely. For those members of the public who are participating remotely, we would ask that you keep your microphone on mute throughout the proceedings, with the exception of any public hearings or opportunities for comments, at which time I will ask you to unmute your microphone and begin by stating your name and address for the record. Once you have completed your comments, if you would once again mute your microphone, we would appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody's participation and their patience with us as we continue to work through the new world of remote meetings. And with that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. DeMade?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Hazen?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mr. Belovich?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of June 7th, 2021. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, then the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President. I have a letter from the City Plan Commission regarding the recommendations from their June 8th, 2021 meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Plan Commission was held on the above referenced date, at which time the following proposed ordinances were considered. Petition number 2021-07, a petition submitted by Triple J LLC requesting to amend the University Marketplace Planned Unit Development, 7207 Grape Road, Granger, former J.C. Penney Home Store, to allow an automobile dealership and service center. With your permission, I will omit reading the lengthy.
Please do so.
Thank you. The commission, with a vote of 4 to 3, forwarded no recommendation. Petition number 2021-08, a petition submitted by Smita Patel requesting to rezone part of 2754 Lincoln Way East from C1 General Commercial District to C7 Automobile-Oriented Restaurant Commercial District to allow a restaurant with drive-through. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2021-09, a petition submitted by MOEAN LLC seeking to annex and zone 19.2 acres south of Blair Hills and north of Autumn Ridge subdivision to R1 single-family residential for a proposed single-family residential subdivision. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2021-10, a petition submitted by Kenneth Bechtold requesting to annex and zone 16996 State Road 23 to I-1 Light Industrial District for a proposed storage facility. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-605, the Mishawaka Plan Commission hereby certifies to the Mishawaka Common Council the attached proposed ordinance regarding the above matters. This is signed by Carrie Myers, Administrative Planner.
Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we will move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-20, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the Zoning Ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is University Marketplace PUD amendment to allow an automobile dealership and service center at 7207 Grape Road. This is the former J.C. Penney's home store. The petitioner has requested an amendment. If you'd like me to read that amendment.
Would you please read the amendment?
This would take place Under permitted uses, it's number 1, it would be permitted uses shall be amended to include an electric automobile dealership and service center. That is adding the word electric.
Thank you. At this time, based upon the request of the petitioner, the chair would entertain a motion to delete proposed ordinance number 2021-20 in its entirety and instead substitute in an amended ordinance that reflects the addition of the term electric as read by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to delete the proposed ordinance 2021-20 as originally drafted and instead substitute in an amendment that adds a reference to the phrase electric at the request of the petitioner. Are there any additional questions or comments from the council?
Mr. President, so just to be clear, we're removing automobile dealership and putting in electric automobile dealership, right?
Yes.
We won't include both of them, it's just going to be electric.
Just the electric automobile.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? With that, then, Madam Clerk, if you would, please poll the council on the motion to amend the proposed ordinance.
Mrs. DeMaid?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
yes,
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
The amendment passes 9-0.
Thank you. And with that, then proposed ordinance number 2021-20 as amended will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-21, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from C1 district to C7 district to allow restaurant with drive-through, part of 2754 Lincoln Way East, existing parking lot area for Mishawaka Inn.
Thank you. Proposed ordinance number 2021-21 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-22, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. Excuse me, this is annexation and zoning of 19.02 acres to R1 for a proposed single-family residential subdivision, Autumn Ridge Phase 4.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-22 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-23, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. This is annexation and zoning of 5.24 acres to I-1 for a proposed self-storage facility at 16996 State Road 23.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-23 will also be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee. Resolutions.
Yes, Mr. President, we have resolution number R 2021-13. This is a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, adding parcels to the city's property acquisition list associated with a previously approved Common Council Resolution 2014-07, which approved an order of the City of Mishawaka Plan Commission approving a certain declaratory resolution, an amendment to the boundaries of the Northwest Area Improvement Project, consolidation of the South Side Economic Development Area and the Northwest Improvement Project into one consolidated area improvement project, and an amendment to the Economic Development Plan for the Consolidated Area Improvement Project adopted by the City of Mishawaka Redevelopment Commission.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, we will move into public hearing on proposed resolution 2021-13. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward. Good evening, Mr. Prince.
Good evening, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the council, Ken Prince, City Planner. I was going to give you the very abbreviated version tonight, but since we have the youth council here, I feel the need to do a little deeper explanation, just so they understand what we're talking about. So tax increment financing, as you know, is when essentially undeveloped or underdeveloped property, you create a district or an area around that property, and then once the property is improved, the additional tax increment that's collected is then put in a special fund called tax increment financing that is then used to fund capital improvements in that area. So the tax increment financing district in the city was last amended in 2014 and includes thousands of properties in it that have been developed since the 1980s to provide funding for capital improvements within the city, and is our primary source of funding for capital improvements in the city. So as part of our last amendment in 2014, the city amended the district because at that point in time, per state law, it was allowed to follow roadways and to do things in areas where we know we needed capital improvements but didn't necessarily have a funding match. One of those areas was Union Street South. So as you know, our long-term goal as a city is to make from Bremen Highway, Union, Church, Main, Gumwood, all 5 lanes from one end of the city to the other end of the city. And systematically, we've been taking our shot and getting project after project done to make that project happen. Of course, in 2014, we knew we wanted to do that project, but we didn't know exactly what properties we would need. So what we represented to the council at that time is we would come back when we had a better idea of what properties we needed. In this case, we are working on the engineering, but do not have the engineering completed for the expansion of Union Street as you go from about 9th Street going all the way past Dragoon Trail, which is the current city limits at that portion. And really, when you look at the properties located along that corridor, when you get probably south of 13th Street, it's going to be pick one side or the other. You could potentially have a curve like we do in Main Street, but ultimately, there are many properties that are going to need to be acquired as part of that. As part of that improvement, we know we need to improve the intersection where 12th and 13th meet at Union, and right on the corner is the former Raybuck Construction Office. This is located immediately north of where Papa Joe's was located. We had approached, at the time that we bought Papa Joe's, we had approached the owner about selling. They had personal issues that they couldn't sell at that time. They had just recently now come back to us in the last month and asked us if we had an interest. We said we did, and that is why we're before you this evening, is to acquire that property. The reason we know we need to acquire it, it is very, very close to the road. Literally any expansion, you walk out the front door, you feel like you're walking out onto Union Street. So we know without doing any detailed engineering that we need to acquire the property. To that end, we know that there will be other properties that we might be bringing to you as they might come available where they are that close to the right-of-way without any engineering and asking you to put them on the acquisition list. But any of the ones, and I'll note that as you move further south on Union, there have been properties that have come for sale, and we're here like we're not at that point. We've been contacted by the owners on whether we wanted to acquire them, and we said we might not, we don't know, we can't buy it at this time because we don't have a definitive answer on that. So we are prudent in terms of when we take these to you for your approval, but that's the circumstances regarding this, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Prince? Mr. Belovitch?
Yes, Mr. Prince, could you give a couple of examples of projects that have been funded by TIF money across the city of Mishawaka?
Yes, everything from the Main Street underpass, Battelle Center, Edison Lakes, virtually all the improvements as we've widened Main Street. It put the bridge across the toll road. It helped fund the road that goes by the VA hospital, the clinic. It funded Beacon Parkway. It funded the demolition at Uniroyal downtown. It funded, and mind you, we've had different TIFs over time, so I can stop there or I can keep
You
going.
can stop
Okay,
there.
okay, all right.
Thanks.
Lots of.
Thank you, Mr. Belovitch. Any other questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward. Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Then is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Please come forward. And then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
yes,
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonball?
Yes.
The resolution passes 9-0.
We have no ordinances on second reading, so we'll move into privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dave Wood, Mayor. Sorry for the late notice that I was going to have our youth council drop in and kind of participate in our meeting tonight, but their previously scheduled night at the electric lineman training facility where they get the opportunity to go up in bucket trucks got canceled because of our guys working 16-hour shifts last night following storms and doing an exceptional job of keeping the power on for our Mishawaka utility customers, Mishawaka citizens. So kudos to them for another outstanding response. And I think they were in for a treat getting educated on TIF. So I'm sure it will be very memorable, something that they will carry away off to college and hopefully back to the Princess City when they get done with college. But so we've had, over 150 youth council members over my 11 years now, kids doing amazing things, going off to college, going off to service academies, living really in all parts of the country, athletes who are achieving at the highest of levels. Impressive all around, but, and as I love them all, and as much as I am impressed with all of my youth council groups, couldn't be more impressed than with this group. They had to meet and continue to function through an unprecedented time known as the pandemic. They continued to meet in person. They continued to serve their city. And of all of the projects that we do on a big scale, I can't think of any that I'm more proud of than these kids designing Heroes Park and taking that from concept through completion to now being a very popular park for Mishawaka families, for a great southeast neighborhood, and really a slice of Americana. And these kids did it. They learned an awful lot. We're here to educate, and these kids learned an awful lot about how local government works. And so I think that they, as I was saying at a meeting to them earlier, you participated in a cool project, you made an important improvement in your community, but this is the one where maybe decades from now, they're coming back to and saying, you know what, I participated in this, and it is still productive, and it is still a neat place to be. And, it's, our youth council is the best practice. We know that around the state, but it's because of these kids' willingness to step up and make their community better. And so, we're seeing them do amazing things, as I mentioned. We're even hiring from alumni groups in the past, which is also a very good thing for our city. So maybe we can talk some of these kids into coming back and not only living here, but even working here or serving in the positions that we hold. So I couldn't be more proud of them. Great kids all around. Their community is so much better because of their hard work and their service. And so feel free to, I know you'll be very impressed, as I am, with these kids. The thing I told them that I'm going to struggle with is we let them design a park. What are we going to do for the next group coming in? I have no idea what that looks like, but we'll find something, rest assured. So I'm proud of these kids, and I'm sure you will be too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, and we also want to welcome you this evening and thank you for the work that you do on behalf of the community and on behalf of the Mayor's Youth Council. As the mayor indicated, you've made a tangible difference in your community, which is really all any of us can ask as citizens at the end of the day. So as was suggested by the mayor earlier, since we have you here as a captive audience and the agenda is fairly light this evening, and in particular, since we now, as I mentioned earlier, are live streaming our meetings, who am I to deny your parents and your family the opportunity to see you each come in line to the podium, step up and tell us, if you would, give us your name and which school you attend, and we'll see if we're going to pepper you with any questions at that point in time. But my guess would be that we won't. So if you want to, let's start at this end and in line. If you want to come to the podium once, one person at a time, come as a group, and make sure that you smile for the camera, so your folks are going to be happy to see you when they watch the replay of this. You had the misfortune of taking that first seat. You didn't realize you were going to be the leadoff batter, did you?
So just start with my name?
Please.
All right, I'm Albert Spalding, and I go to Penn High School.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you.
What, excuse me, what grade are you? Are you junior, senior, or what?
I'm a junior.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Owens?
No, I won't put you on the spot.
Thank you, Albert. All right, next.
All right. My name is Seth Becker, and I go to Marion High School.
And
Just
you're
not
a,
You gonna make him ask you?
What
What
year?
year? I'm a graduated senior.
Nice.
I am the president of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council.
Excellent. As the father of an ex-president of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, I like to hear that, so thank you, Seth.
Hi, I'm Allison Gordon, and I go to Mishawaka, and I am a graduated senior.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Allison.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
can I interject, well, if you're a senior, graduating senior, can you give us kind of what your plans are of going off to school, or if you have a school that you're planning on attending?
They're already,
They can just stand up and
And,
say.
let us know what your aspirations are.
So I'm Garrett Sandifer. I am a graduating senior from Mishawaka High School, or graduated senior. I'm planning on going to Purdue Northwest for mechanical engineering.
Okay,
very good.
great,
Congratulations, Garrett.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, why don't we let our earlier victim step up to the podium and
I'm going to be attending IUPUI in the fall and studying forensic science.
great.
I will be attending Marion University down in Indianapolis. I'm looking in majoring in business analytics, possibly a double major in entrepreneurship, and then also a study in actuary science.
Fantastic, thank you.
I am Christopher Hahn, and I am going to be a junior at Marion High School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Reese Sutherland, and I'm going to be a junior attending at Mishawaka High School.
Thank you.
I'm Grace Vandenberg, and I'm going to be a senior at Mishawaka High School.
Thanks, Grace.
I'm Madeline Bercheski, and I'm going to be a junior at Mishawaka High School.
Thank you.
I'm Alexa Cannon, and I'm going to be a junior at Mishawaka High School.
Thank you.
I'm Kyla Bowman, and I go to Mishawaka High School, and I'll be a senior.
Thank you.
I'm Emily Winters. I'm a graduated senior from Marion, and I'll be attending Purdue University for early childhood education.
You disappoint me with the IU t-shirt.
Hi, I'm Hannah Shelley. I'm a graduating senior from Penn High School, and I'll be going to IU to study nursing, IU Bloomington.
Good for you.
Thank you. Well, again, thank you all for being here, and special thanks to the unsung heroes of the Mayor's Youth Council, Mrs. Hazen and Mrs. Wood, who do this not because it is a job, but they're passionate about it, and we appreciate the work that you do to make this all come together. So thank you, ladies, as well. Folks, any additional comments from the Mrs. Volker?
Thank you. I just wanted to compliment not only the Mayor's Youth Council, but again, the mayor and Luann and Jean. Sorry, I'm so tired. But I wanted to tell you, I was very, very impressed with the park, and the work that you did there, but also the way that you laid out your program during the ribbon cutting. It was just really impressive how each of you had a role to play. You did a great job in telling us as an audience, you know, what the important parts were, what the meanings. It was very meaningful. I mean, for me, as somebody in the audience, I found the way that you described the various parts of the park, why you put them there, and how you named them, and who you involved in the process. I found it to be very moving, very interesting, and you did just a tremendous job. So I just wanted to, it's the best ribbon cutting I've ever been to.
Thank you, Mrs. Volker. Any other comments from the council? All right. Thank you again, folks. We appreciate you being here. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor?
President, if I could have one more kick at it, would just like to pass along that in the spirit of ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, we are going to have a groundbreaking this Wednesday. What time?
Is it Thursday?
Thursday at 1 p.m. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But anyway, Thursday, 1 p.m. at the Ironworks Plaza for the Plaza Cafe Rink project. Another project that in part was conceived by a past Mayor's Youth Council. And so we will be there with shovels and dirt ready for you to turn if you would like to show up. So it's a significant project for us, and construction crews are at the gates, right, just waiting for us to turn the dirt so they can get in and make it happen. So I want to let you know.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? And thank you. This evening, we have no unfinished business of which I am aware, so we'll move into new business. Is there any new business to come before the council?
Yes, Mr. President, we have the request to change some meeting dates. If you'd like me to read those.
If you would, please.
I'd like to move July 19th meeting to July 26th, October 4th meeting to October 11th, October 18th meeting to October 25th.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Second.
Who moved?
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to change our regularly scheduled council meeting dates, as was read by the clerk prior to the motion. Are there any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
The meeting date changes are approved 9-0.
Thank you. Is there any other new business to come before the council this evening? If not, then a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.